and give a line by line explanation of the poem Mending Wall. You look at the board and see Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Okay. In the poem Mending Wall by Robert Frost wants to say that there is no necessity of a wall. Wall stands for separation. Don't allow a wall to come up between us. Who are us? The people who live in this world. Don't raise a border. What does a border do? A border separates one section of the society from another. Is this how we can make the humanity happy? The people living in this world cannot be happy as long as there is a wall between them. If you see the title of the poem, The Mending Wall, as a protest, understood? You can see that poem as a protest against what the people in this world are doing. They are not only raising the wall of separation, they are not only allowing a wall of separation, they are doing it, understood, or repairing it from time to time to see to it that their interests get protected, to see whether their interest of existence get secured or get protected. Is this how we have come to live this world? Before you entered this world, were you told that you have to live a life like that of an animal? We have come to this world for a short span of time, and that short span of time is getting wasted. It is only because of the fact that we think that we are here for thousands of years. And this is the reason we make our friends our enemies. We live the rest of our life with our enemies. Think of how much you have given your neighbors before you want something from them. Is not it how we are spending our life a question of curiosity? Are not you curious to know the reasons behind the sadness of human life? Who are reasons for the sadness, for the sorrows, for the unhappiness of human existence? We ourselves. We think that we will be living in this world for thousands of years. This is the reason why we make our friends our enemy. We live the rest of our life in hell. This is why God has not sent all of us to hell. Rather, this world is a paradise. But we are making it a hell with our bad deeds. This is not a very good thing for humanity. Instead of destroying the wall of separation between us, we are mending the wall. When Robert Frost wrote this poem, he didn't mean that it is a wall of happiness. This is a wall of separation, which we repair from time to time. In springtime is the time of repair. Every year during spring, people repair the wall of separation, the fence that separate the humanity, that separate the wall that separate one section of the society from another. Is this how we can live happily? Is this how the people living in this world lead happy existence? We cannot be happy, right or not? Am I right? Hello? If you don't tell me, how can I know? Can you be happy with a wall between you and your parents? Will it be a happy life? So, today's poem is one of the finest poems. And you can see this poem as one of the finest, one of the most beautiful poems by Robert Frost. Now, I'm going to start the poem. Because as you know, this is a day of internet, so I don't find it important to carry a copy with me, It will be easy if I read it from the net, isn't it? And explain. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends frozen ground swell under it. When you read, something there is that doesn't love a wall, there is something beyond our understanding, which doesn't support the construction of a wall. We know fully well, though we know fully well that the wall of separation does us harm. It does our existence harm. In spite of that, we don't object to the creation of it between us. Rather, we think it is a symbol of our security. It is a symbol of our protection. But we all know what is right to us may be wrong to others. What we see as the right thing, nature doesn't support. You cannot obstruct the movement of nature. What is movement of nature? Like the streams that you see keep flowing. The sea of this beautiful world are moving. The air that is invisible to our eyes is moving. So we call it blowing air. Isn't it? Am I right or not? So as everything is moving, why not there be movement of people? People are born. People have come to this world to move from one place to another. If the movement stops, the life will come to a standstill. People will no more be happy. Because by raising a wall of separation, you are not only depriving one section of their right to mix with another section of the society. By doing this with a wall between the nearest and dearest ones, we are depriving them of the beauty of life, the beauty of our existence. So the poet says, something there is that doesn't love a wall. There is something beyond our understanding that doesn't like a wall. The nature doesn't support. Though we as human beings have raised wall of separation between us, but the nature. There is something means there is something, that something is the nature itself. Isn't it? Something there is that doesn't support a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it. It means the frozen ground under the soil, under the wall. What does it? The poet says that there is something frozen. There is some force in nature that doesn't like the walls. During winter, the ground becomes frozen. Understood? So, that sends the frozen ground swell under it. It means, what happens during winter? During winter, the ground becomes frozen. And when the frozen ground expands and swells, it pushes the wall from underneath. Because of this pressure, the wall cracks and the stones fall apart. Understood? Did you get? Very good. So, the nature seems to be telling us that the walls should not exist because they separate things that naturally belong together. the things that belong together, the air, the sea, everything in nature, they belong together, including the existence of human lives, all the living beings. You might have seen migration of animals from one side of Africa to another. Similarly, we also moved during ancient times as primitive people living in the forest. We always moved from one place to another. But modernity has separated us in the name of giving us protection, safety, security. And now we have already come to know. So, what happens? The nature seems to be telling us that walls should not exist because they separate things that naturally belong together. Something there is when you read the word, understood, when you read the line, something there is, it means something, some unknown force exists. Something there is means some unknown force exists. Doesn't love a wall means doesn't like walls or barriers. Frozen ground swell. I'm reading the lines, the phrases, it is very important. Frozen ground swell, the expansion of the frozen earth in winter. In cold climates, especially in countries, the countries with cold climates. Understood? What happened? You can see frozen ground swell in them. The expansion of frozen earth in winter under the soil. Understood? Clear? That is called the frozen ground swell. Expansion of frozen earth in winter. Under it, it means beneath the wall. I hope you have understood the line. Do you have any problem in understanding?
No.
So, the meaning of the line, something there is that doesn't love a wall, is very clear, right? You understood?
Yes.
Now, let's go to the next line. So, like I've told you already, nature does not like barriers between people. So, it keeps trying to break the wall. Here, wall stands for separation, nature stands for unity. So, these two lines mean nature hates separation. So, it tries to break every wall that divides people. Understood? Am I clear to you?
Yes.
Now, next line. And peels the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps. Even two can pass abreast. The poet continues describing how nature breaks the wall. Line 1, and spills the upper boulders in the sun. Here, boulder means very large stones. Spills means makes them fall and scatter. The frozen ground pushes the wall from below. As a result, the big stones at the top of the wall fall down and lie scattered in the sunlight. Nature throws down the stones of the wall and spreads them on the ground. And this is why it means and spills the upper boulders in the sun. This is how upper boulders, that is the stones on top of the walls. Understood? They get Not only thrown, they get scattered all over the ground in the sun. Is that clear? And makes gaps. Even two can pass abreast. Abreast means side by side. Gap means hole or opening. Abreast means side by side. The wall becomes so badly damaged that large openings are created. These openings are so wide or are wide enough for two people to walk through together. And that is side by side. They can walk together side by side. Where? Through the cracks in the wall, through the holes in the walls. Is that clear? Two people can pass through the holes in the walls. Nature makes big holes in the wall that two persons can pass through. Understood? Am I clear to you? Okay, fine. So nature makes such big holes in the wall that two persons can pass through them at the same time, and makes gaps. Even two can pass abreast. Like I've already told you, the wall stands for division and separation between people. Nature keeps breaking the wall, making openings. Nature keeps breaking the wall and making openings. This suggests that human wants people to meet, communicate, and stay united rather than remain separated. Who wants? Nature. Nature is against what? What we do in the name of protection. Understood? Security. But the nature doesn't want anything like that. What the nature does is, nature wants people to meet, communicate, and stay united rather than remain separated. Understood? Like I have told you, wall stands for division, and I have told you everything. Nature breaks, scatters its stones, and even creates openings so that people can come together. The work of hunters, another line. The work of hunters is another thing. Something we have already got the mention of something there is that doesn't like a wall. In the beginning of the poem, we have got this line, something there is that doesn't like a wall. Understood? Now, what is another thing we are getting? The another thing is, the work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding. But to please the yelping dogs, the gaps I mean. Do you understand? Now I would like you to please understand. These lines are really, really very beautiful. Something there is that doesn't like a wall. It means nature is against the creation of wall that separates humanity. Understood? And another thing is that, what is another thing? That is why nature, what you love, nature doesn't love what you love. Nature is against the creation of the separation between human beings. Understood? So, another thing that happens to the wall is, what is that another thing? The work of hunters is another thing. The work of hunters, what do the hunters do? Do you know? Tell me, hey, you. Do you know what happens in the cold climates in countries where it is very cold, like America, European countries, Australia, Canada? Understood? Coldest climates. Countries with the coldest climates. And what happened? And even in India, Jammu and Kashmir, isn't it? And now, what happened? There is chill in the air, always. The worker, the work of hunters is another thing. You know, in cold climate, the ground that you walk on is covered with snow. Clear? And so, what happened? The wall that they have raised, the wall of separation, that separate one household or one family from another. They have made fences around their houses that separates, understood, them, that those families. These walls remain under the frozen ice, understood? Under the ice, even if the ground is covered with snow, the fence is also under snow, isn't it? So, under the pressure of snow, the wall that they build or that they make gets broken, understood? And due to the frozen snow under the wall, we have already read that the wall gets weakened due to frozen snow under the wall. And we have also come to know the hunters are there in European countries also. They hunt during winter also. They go from one place to another. And don't they go across the wall? Don't they jump over the wall that they build? Understood. And the hunters also, what? Damage the world. They also destroy the world. How do they? By going over the world, by going across the world, by jumping over the world. Understood? Is that clear? So, the work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair. It means after the hunters left, I have come. Understood? When do the Europeans, especially the countries where there is, cold climate, right? Generally, they do not repair the walls. Understood? During winter, is it possible? When the ground is covered with snow, is it possible? No. When do they do it? When do they do the repair work? They do it during springtime. That is the season of repair. They repair it during spring. There is no snow. The ground is very clear because the frozen ground disappear. Do you get it? The snow on the ground disappear or not? So what happened? The people or the poet says the work of hunter is another. Hunter also destroy the world. They also damaged, do harm to the world. And the hunters do harm to the world, they also destroy the world or damage the world. I have come after them and made repair. It means as after the damage was done by the hunters, the poet comes. And what does he do? He comes to repair the world. And where they have left not one stone on a stone. Where they have left not one stone on a stone. But they would have the rabbit out of their hiding. To please the yelping dogs, the gaps are in. Here, the poet, actually, what the poet wants to say is that the poet now says that the world is not broken only by nature. The world is not broken only by nature. Sometimes hunters also break the world. When hunters chase rabbits, clear? When hunters chase rabbits, the rabbits hide among the stones of the world. To catch them, the hunters pull the stones apart and make holes in the wall. Their dogs bark loudly. It means barking dogs are called yelping dogs and help them hunt. The dogs means as soon as they look for, when they look for the rabbits that are chased by the hunters, take shelter in the holes in the walls. Understood? And the yelping dogs catch hold, means hunt them down. To catch them, the hunters pull the stones apart and make holes in the wall. Their dogs bark loudly, means yelping dogs, and help them hunt. After the hunters leave, the poet comes and repairs the wall. I've told you, no? Do you understand? After the hunters leave, when do the hunters leave? During winter, they leave, they go over the wall during hunting. Actually, during winter, it is also very easy for the hunters to hunt. Understood? Because at that time, nature is still. So what happened? You know what happened? After the hunters leave, the poet comes and repairs the wall. He puts the stones back in their places. So the poet is saying the holes in the wall are not always made by nature. Some are made by hunters who break the wall while chasing the rabbits. Is that clear? So, what I meant to say, I think I have made you understand this line. Actually, the lines that you have just completed, the poet first showed that nature breaks wall. Then he shows that human actions also break walls. What does this suggest? This suggests that walls are not strong or permanent. Both nature and people keep breaking them. Nature breaks the wall from below. Hunters break the wall from outside. Both nature and hunters make holes in the wall. Now, I will repeat the lines. The gaps I mean, no one has seen. The gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard. Do you understand gaps I mean? Which gaps do you know? Hello? Which gaps? The gaps I mean means the holes in the wall. Understood? So the poet says, the gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made. But at spring mending time, we find them there. Actually, what the poet means to say is that the gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made. But at spring mending time, we find them there. The poet says that he is talking about the gaps or holes in the wall. Nobody has actually seen who made these gaps. Nobody has even heard the sound of them being made. Yet, every spring, when it is time to repair the wall, the poet and his neighbor discover that new gaps have appeared. It seems as if some mysterious force of nature quietly breaks the wall during winter. The holes in the wall appear mysteriously. No one knows exactly when or how they were made. But every spring they are found there. Is that clear? Have I been able to make you understand?
Yes.
Any problem?
No.
Please tell me. Again, I am repeating. The poet is suggesting that there is a mysterious natural force that keeps breaking the walls. The wall represents division between people. Even though nobody sees the wall being broken, it keeps breaking again and again. This suggests that nature doesn't support separation and barriers. Every spring, new gaps appear in the world. Although nobody has seen them being made or heard them being made. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. Do you understand? I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. It means the poet's neighbor live on the other side of the hill. Understood? So he sends him information. It's one of the finest poems by Robert Frost. What a good language, see? Nice language used. Now the poet says, I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. The poet's neighbor lives on the other side of a hill. The poet informs him that it is time to repair the world. Understood? When the poet says, I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. It means what the poet means to say, the poet's neighbor lives on the other side of a hill. And the poet informs him that it is time to repair the wall. It is a routine or regular work every season. And on a day we meet, and on a day we meet to walk the line. On a fixed day, and on a day we meet to walk the line means on a day. It means what does the poet wants to say? What does the poet want to say? On a day, actually by on a day, what the poet means to say is that on a fixed day, we means both the neighbors and the poet. Do you get it? So, on a day we meet to walk the line. It means on a fixed day, both the poet and his neighbor come together and walk along the boundary line where the wall stands. Understood? Means poet's friend is walking on the other side of the wall and he is walking on this side of the wall. They are walking with the wall between them. Do you understand? While walking, they are on either side of the wall. Understood? Poet is on this side of the wall and poet's friend is on the other side of the wall. Do you get it? And they walk together. Is that clear? Have I been able to make you understand? Very good. And set the wall between us once again. Set means repair. If you have a mobile phone, okay, I'm just telling you. If you set it, what does it mean? You repair it or not? Do you get it what I'm telling you? Setting it means you are repairing it. So, here, and set the wall between us once again, it means here they say that they repair the broken parts of the wall and rebuild the wall again. As a result, the wall again stands between them. We keep the wall between us as we go. What does it mean? When you read the line, we keep the line between us as we go. It means while repairing the wall, they walk on opposite sides of the wall. Is that clear? While repairing the wall, they walk on the opposite sides of the wall. The wall always remains between them. To each the boulders that have fallen to each, when by the line, what does it mean? To each the boulders that have fallen to each. It means each person picks up and repairs the stones that have fallen on his own side. You got it? It means if you are standing on the other side of the wall, the stones are falling from that side of the wall to you, and the stones, the person standing on this side, the stones that are falling on from this side, they will be picked up, understood, by the people standing on either side of the wall and will be placed by them as a repair work. Do you get it? It's a part of their repair work. Now, what happens? Actually, each person picks up and repairs the stone that have fallen on his own side. Here, the poet shows something strange. The two neighbors come together to repair the wall. They meet, talk, work together. But the purpose of their work is to rebuild a world that separates them. So, although they are physically close, they are rebuilding a barrier between themselves. Understood? They are rebuilding a barrier between themselves. They meet to build a wall, but a wall keeps people apart. Like I've told you, meet stands for friendship. Wall stands for separation. The poet wonders if we are already meeting and working together, why do we need a wall between us? If we always meet and work together, why do we need a wall between us? The question is one of the central ideas of the Mending wall. Now, some are loaves. Loaves, do you know? Pieces of bread. Some are loaves. These are lines of the poem. And some are loaves. And some so nearly balls. We have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. It means some are loaves. It means some look like the loaves of bread. Understood? They are flat, isn't it? And some so nearly balls and some stones. Here the poet talks about different sizes of stones. Some are, he talks about the shapes of the stones. Understood? Some are round. Some look like loaves of bread. Understood? That are flat. So, as the stones are like the stones have got different shapes. So, setting them or placing them in the wall, they find placing them very difficult. To raise the wall again, the construction, they find constructing the wall very difficult due to their sizes. Some have got the sizes like that of loaves, and the other have got the sizes like round circular stones. Do you get it? Got it? They are round in shapes. So with these stones, they have to raise the wall again. So they find doing it very difficult. So the poet says, some are loaves and some so nearly balls. We have to use a spell to make them balance. They need the use of magic to keep them standing, to keep them in their places. Understood? Without magic, it is impossible for them to keep the stones in their places, because if the stones have got different shapes, understood? Some like those of the lobes and some that are round, understood? With them, it's quite impossible for them to do things like that. So they are left with no alternative except to use magic. So we have to use a spell. Spell means magic, to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. It means they are telling you stay where you are. If they have kept the stones on the walls, they are telling the stones, inanimate objects, but they are telling. It's a poem, so they can tell, isn't it? So what they are saying, stay where you are until our backs are turned. It means until we come back to the place again. Understood? After we finish our work, even if I have kept you like that, stay there until we come back again. Until our backs are turned. Do you get it? With your back to them, you have to go home. Understood? When you see them again, you want to see them remaining in those places or in those places where you have left. Do you get it? And if you want them, they will be there as long as you want, because you have used magic spell. You have used magic. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. So here, the poet and his neighbor are repairing the wall. Some stones are shaped like loaves of bread, means long and flat. Some stones are almost round like balls. Because these stones have strange shapes, it is difficult to place them on the wall. They fall down at any moment. So the poet jokingly says, what does he say? That they need a magic spell to keep the stones balanced. To keep the stones balanced, they need magic. Understood? They depend on magic. They humorously tell the stones. Humorously. They use humor here. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. What does it mean? This means please don't fall down until we finish our work and walk away. Until we finish our work and walk away or leave this place. Is that clear? You understood? I hope you understood. So, with the lines, they were very clear, and some are loops and some so nearly balls. So, if you look at the meaning, what meaning do you think these lines have? These lines add humor to the poem. Repairing the wall is not easy. The stones are awkward and difficult to balance. The poet jokes about using magic because the task feels almost impossible. This also shows that the wall is unnatural. The nature keeps breaking it, and people must work hard to keep it standing. So, what can you say? Round stones means difficult to balance. You cannot balance the round stone. Spell, humorous joke. Wall, hard to maintain. So, what do you get out of this line? The stones are so oddly shaped that the poet jokingly says they need magic to keep them from falling. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. When do your fingers become rough? Due to the work that you do? When you are repairing the walls, will not your fingers be rough? So, the poet says, we wear our fingers rough with handling them. It means the poet and his neighbor are repairing the wall by lifting, placing heavy stones. They touch, carry, and move the stones again and again. Because of this hard work, their fingers become rough, sore, and tired. We work so hard with with the stones that our fingers become rough and painful. Understood? So, what did this rough work do? Damaged, right? And what exactly do these lines mean? The poet is showing that maintaining the what? Maintaining the world requires a lot of hard work. It's not easy to maintain the world. Maintaining the world requires a lot of hard work. Nature keeps breaking the world. People keep repairing it. This makes the poet wonder if the world requires so much effort to maintain. Is it really necessary? If maintaining world, understood like that, maintaining the world of separation is that difficult, is it necessary? Now he's questioning. Understood the existence of a world. Understood. So that this is why the poet is saying that. The poet and his neighbor handle the heavy stones so much that their fingers become rough and tired. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side. It comes to some, it comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need world. He is all pine and I am apple orchard. Here the poet says jokingly, it's also part of a joke. What is it? Listen very carefully. This is very important. Like we have already come to the end almost. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. You know, outdoor game. Doing it seems to the poet as if it is an outdoor game that they are playing. Understood? Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side, one on one side of the world. It comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the world. He is all pine and I am apple orchard. Here, oh, just another kind of outdoor game. The poet says jokingly that repairing the world feels like a game played outdoors. Understood? Repairing the world feels like a game played outdoors. Do you get it? They meet every year. It's a seasonal game. Do you get it? They meet every year and reveal the world together. Almost like a yearly activity. One on a side, it comes to little more. Each person stays on his own side. Do you get it? One on a side means each person stays on his own side of the world. Do you get it? One on a side means each person stays on his own side of the world while repairing it. The work doesn't achieve anything very important. The work that they are doing doesn't achieve anything very important. The apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines. I tell him. It means in these lines, the apple trees will never get across. Will never get across. It will not come from their side and will not enter. Understood? The garden of another person. It will not, the apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under the pines. Under the pines, they can never eat the cones. Understood? That belongs to the area of the pine trees. I tell him. The poet is talking to his neighbor. He says jokingly, my apple trees cannot walk across the wall. It means my apple tree cannot move into your garden. Clear? Cannot walk across the wall and eat the pine cones. Clear? Pine cones that fall under your pine trees. Do you get it? The apple trees stay where they are. Apple trees will always stay where they are. They cannot move from one field to another. So, the poet is saying that there is no danger from his apple trees. Therefore, there is no real need for a wall between them. Though they have raised wall, his apple trees cannot enter his garden, his neighbor's garden, and neighbor's pine trees cannot enter apple's orchard of the poet. Do you get it? So there is no need of fence. There is no need of wall between two different fields. Do you get it? What does it do? It destroys the existence of unity. My apple trees will never get across means the apple trees cannot cross the boundary and eat the cones under his pines. They cannot eat the pine cones under the neighbor's pine trees. I tell him, the poet says this to his neighbor. The poet is questioning the neighbor's belief in walls. Understood? The poet is questioning his neighbor's belief in walls, in the existence of walls. Walls are needed only when something can cause harm. But trees cannot cross boundaries. So, why build a wall? The poet believes in friendship and openness, while the neighbor believes in boundaries and tradition. Understood? So, the poet argues that his apple trees cannot cross boundary or harm his neighbor. So, a wall is unnecessary. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Sorry, notion means idea. What are these lines? He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Here, he only says, who? Neighbor. What does he mean to say? Good fences make good neighbors. It means the neighbor doesn't listen to the poet's arguments. The poet is trying to say that there is no need for wall of separation between us. But the neighbors say good fences. If the wall of separation is very good, then we will live as very good neighbors without our interest harmed. It means you only as a man, you feel free to think of yourself. Understood? It means the poet's friend wants him to be a selfish person. Who are selfish? When you think only of yourself, when you don't think of others. Is this how we can get peace and happiness, permanent happiness? If there is existence of wall between us, if you use the trust as a wall, trust in the humanity, trust in unity. If you see trust in every person as a wall, I think that there will be existence of humanity. There will be humanity will not only live at peace with one another, they will see the world as paradise. Poet's friend neighbor believes in the existence of one that separates people. The poet doesn't support it. Do you get it? Because the wall makes us selfish. Whereas the if there is no wall, then people will get to live at peace. So he only says good fences make good neighbors. The neighbor doesn't listen to the poet's arguments. He simply repeats an old saying, good fences make good neighbors. He believes that clear boundaries and walls help people stay peaceful and avoid arguments. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder, spring makes the poet playful and curious and thoughtful. Understood? The poet, hello, listen very carefully. This is very important line. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wondered. It means spring makes the poet playful, curious, and thoughtful. The poet feels a desire to question the old ideas and traditions. If I could put a notion in his head, the poet wonders whether he can make his neighbor think differently. He wants to place a new idea. He wants to, you can say, plant a new idea in the neighbor's head. What is this? About the necessity of unity. About how important the unity, love, perfection, strength of bond of friendship. So you can say the neighbor blindly repeats an old saying while the poet wants him to think about whether the wall is really necessary. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. This is one of the finest lines of the poem. You know, finally the poet says, why do they make good neighbors? Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? And here there are no cows. Where there are good fences raised, maybe there are cows, and the cows can enter the garden and eat, understood, and destroy the crops. Clear? But here, where the poet lives with his neighbor, there are no cows. The place where the poet lives with his neighbor, there are no cows. So, if there are no cows, then no damages will be done to the crops. So, then why do you need a wall to separate? Why do fences make good neighbor? Here, there are no cows. The poet is questioning his neighbor's famous saying, good fences make good neighbors. The poet asks, why do fences make good neighbors? Then he gives an example. Fences are useful when there are cows or other animals because they stop the animals from wandering into another person's land. But in their case, there are no cows. Are there cows where the poet lives? Hello, listen to me. Are there cows? The place where the poet lives, are there cows that can destroy the crops? Can they destroy the crops? When there are no cows, why are you living in fear of losing something? Why do you need a wall of separation? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you getting me?
Yes.
So, am I right or not?
Yes.
So, there are no cows. There are only pine trees and apple trees. The poet feels that a fence or a wall is unnecessary. Is a wall necessary? Hello?
Yeah.
Then they are unnecessary. Why will they raise frames? Isn't it where there are cows? If there are cows, it's okay. Fences are useful when cows might cross into another person's field. If there are no cows, what will happen? Tell me. Tell me what will happen. In this place, there are no cows. So what does the poet say? The poet is saying using logic. He says a world should have a purpose. If there is nothing that needs to be separated, then building a world make no sense. The poet believes that people should not follow tradition blindly. Should the people follow tradition blindly?
No.
Then this is the reason why the poet argues that fences are useful for controlling cows. But since there are no cows here, the wall is unnecessary. I believe you have understood, no? So the last lines, before I built a wall, I would ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, to whom I was like to give offense. These are among the most thoughtful and philosophical lines of Mending Wall. Before I built a wall, I would ask to know. The poet has a question. Before the humanity builds a wall, they need to ask a question. What is that? The poet says, before building any wall, I would first stop and think. He doesn't want to build a wall blindly. He wants to understand why the wall is needed. This is why the poet is saying, what I was walling in or walling out. What am I keeping inside the wall? With the wall, when you raise a wall, you want to keep something inside the wall. So the poet says, what am I keeping inside the wall? What am I keeping outside the wall? Every wall separates something. When we know fully well that every wall separates something. So before building it, we should know exactly what is being separated. Isn't it? Before building the world, we should know what is being separated and to whom I was like to give offense and who you want to hold responsible for this. The poet asks, will this wall hurt anyone's feelings? Maybe the wall will make someone feel unwanted, separated, rejected, or rejected. So he wants to think about the effect of the wall on other people. Before creating any barrier between people, the poet says we should ask three questions. What are these three questions? Why am I building the wall? Whom am I separating? Whom might I hurt? With this, I come to the end of this poem. If you think that the poem that I have read today and explained have really benefited you, and if you think that you've benefited from the beautiful explanation, line by line explanation of the poem, please don't hesitate to give me at least one like. Bye.